Caffeine is a powerful substance that can improve your performance in a physical and mental sense. Are you in need of a little boost? Trust me, you're not alone. Everywhere we look, there are different options. Coffee, energy drinks, pre-workouts, tea, you name it, and it's available when you need a pick-me-up. In fact, some studies have shown that just one dose of caffeine can help focus, fat burning, and overall exercise performance. The United States Special Forces, amateur athletes, and professional athletes alike use it to increase performance at crucial moments. This video will discuss how caffeine works, how it affects endurance training, high-intensity training, strength training, fat loss, and how to supplement it with possible side effects. Nearly 90% of the United States population consumes caffeine from various foods and beverages. I will cover how it impacts various parts of our lives and if it really has an impact on physical performance. Please subscribe and let us know if you like this topic or other topics you want to hear more about. Leave comments below letting us know if this content is applicable to you and if you would like similar things covered. I believe that caffeine is an effective supplement that can be used safely for most people within reason. Stick around to the end to see top benefits and how you should use it. I would like to begin by explaining how caffeine works in different body systems and how it will affect the average person. It absorbs into your bloodstream quickly and peaks within 30 to 120 minutes, then remains high for 3 to 4 hours, also known as your peak energy time. Caffeine can affect cells throughout your body, which is unique in comparison to a lot of supplements. This includes affecting your central nervous system, as well as muscle and fat cells. Because of this, effects are varied. I will cover how it affects the different body systems. The nervous system is activated by caffeine in your brain and it can improve focus and energy while helping to fight off fatigue. Caffeine can impact your hormones in that it releases circulation of epinephrine, also known as adrenaline. This is a hormone responsible for the fight or flight response, which can increase your performance. In addition, caffeine may help with increased fat burn through lipolysis, which is the breakdown of fat in your fat cells. When you feel the exercise high, when you complete a tough workout and you're feeling good, this is due to the beta endorphins, which increase these feel-good feelings, which also are increased by caffeine. It is possible that caffeine through the central nervous system can improve muscle performance when activated, although the exact reason is unclear. In addition, thermogenesis, or heat being produced in your body, can increase with caffeine, raising your overall temperature and leading to the possibility of increased calorie burn. This supplement can also spare muscle carb stores, which it does due to the increased fat burn and helps with endurance training. Basically, caffeine is easily passed through your body and absorbed. It can have effects on muscles, brain, and hormones. Please subscribe and turn on notifications if you've gotten any value so far. It really helps us so much. Moving on, caffeine is a go-to for many people and athletes alike. I've used caffeine to help fuel my workouts for years. It has many positive impacts on athletic performance. It is seen as such an enhancement of physical activity that the NCAA, which governs collegiate athletics, currently has banned it in high doses. One recent study from 2018 found that caffeine modestly improved endurance in moderate doses, 1.4 to 2.7 milligrams per pound of body weight. Another study looked at a group of cyclists who consumed either 100 or 200 milligrams and compared them. And this was mixed in with electrolyte fluid. They found that the group who had caffeine, in addition, performed faster in time trials. Further, when breaking it down into 200 and 100 milligrams, the one with 200 milligrams of caffeine performed best. Yet, more research looked into coffee specifically due to its high concentration of caffeine. The research supported the theory that caffeine in coffee was just as beneficial as caffeine in other forms for endurance athletes. So if Starbucks or your local coffee joint is your go-to, grab a cup of Joe. Just don't add too much creamer to it. All jokes aside, coffee appears to be beneficial in this case. Some research shows that caffeine absorption can also have a genetic variation or component. This can affect the extent to which it can benefit your endurance training, and more research is needed. One final study on endurance training compared some competitive male athletes who consumed caffeine in comparison to a placebo group over 6.2 miles. Of all the participants who had caffeine, they experienced benefits in their times. However, the group that had the genetic variation mentioned had even greater improvements in comparison to their endurance training. Now, when looking into high-intensity exercise in particular, the results have been mixed. It appears in this type of working out, those who were experienced in training for years or were athletes had better benefits than those who were beginning or newer to working out. One small study from 2016 found that those who participated in high-intensity cycling were less fatigued and cycled longer after having 1.8 milligrams of caffeine per pound of body weight compared to the placebo. In comparison, another study looked at those consuming 300 milligrams of caffeine with creatine. This did not show an increase in capacity or speed of sprinters. One last study showed that roughly 2 milligrams of caffeine per pound of body weight taken 30 to 90 minutes before high-intensity exercise led to less overall perceived exertion. Overall, the results were mixed, but it does appear to affect those who are more well-trained more overall. I will now dive into some research looking into caffeine and strength and power exercise. The data in this area, in all honesty, is still emerging. There have been some positive findings, but at this point it's inconclusive. A study from 2020 looked at just 12 people who performed the bench press. In this study, they compared a placebo group with the one that had 1.4 milligrams of caffeine per pound of body weight. The group who had caffeine were stronger and performed better, but this is just 12 people. Another study from 2020 looked at a small group of individuals who trained in a CrossFit style. They measured muscle strength related to grip strength and compared a group taking caffeine to a placebo. In this case, those who had caffeine did not perform at a higher level with any increased strength. Yet a third study looked at a group of men who regularly consumed coffee and measured their bench press strength against a group who did not. This was a high dose of caffeine among men who regularly trained. They did not find increased bench press strength. At this point, again, results are inconclusive and larger studies are needed. Now, if you've ever looked for weight loss supplements, you will see caffeine regularly as a main ingredient. In theory, caffeine helps the breakdown of fat in your cells, which increases the amount of heat your body produces. A study from 2021 showed increased fat oxidation in people when they were average weight or overweight. There's also some research showing that caffeine can increase your daily calorie expenditure just by a relatively small amount. In addition, having caffeine before exercise may increase the release of stored fat in your body. When taking 1.4 to 2.7 milligrams of caffeine, one study found significant fat burning during exercise, especially for those who did not regularly train or who were sedentary. Overall, it appears caffeine can help release fat stores, in particular when taken before and at the end of a workout. It can also help you burn maybe moderately more calories. Here are some tips and advice when it comes to supplementing with caffeine. If you regularly eat chocolate, drink coffee, have caffeinated sodas or energy drinks, you may have fewer benefits because you're used to it. This is because the body can develop tolerance. I would recommend, from my own experience, try not to become dependent. For example, if you can't function without 3 cups of coffee and an energy drink, it might be time to cut back. Caffeine, coffee, whatever this choice might be, has benefits. Coffee in particular has antioxidants and some other health benefits. The dosage recommended is 1.4 to 2.7 milligrams per pound of body weight. So how much you can tolerate or use effectively is based on your weight. So 200 to 400 milligrams for most people. I would recommend, if you haven't had caffeine, start lower with like 100 to 150 milligrams and see what your tolerance is. Then adjust based on how you feel. Personally, I would not recommend over 400 to 600 milligrams, but I understand tolerance can vary by person. 4.1 milligrams and above per pound of body weight can have negative side effects and will not really help athletically. Save the caffeine for important athletic events or when you want to hit a personal record. That's what I'd recommend. For most, take 30 to 60 minutes before a workout to try to maximize your performance. Caffeine has many benefits for most people and relatively few side effects when taken in appropriate doses. However, it may not be a good idea for some people. If you experience any of the following, please stop taking caffeine: dizziness, increased heart rate, anxiety, insomnia, tremors, irritability, or stomach discomfort. In particular, when you take over 600 milligrams of caffeine or 6 cups of coffee, you can experience tremors or restlessness. If you experience anxiety, I would not recommend it in high doses. Anyone who has heart disease, high blood pressure, pregnant, or reflux disease should be cautious and consult a doctor as well. Caffeine can disrupt your sleep, so I would not recommend taking closer than 4 to 6 hours before you normally go to bed. Finally, you can overdose or die from too much, so please do not confuse milligrams with grams. Be careful about high amounts, and remember, these are rare and it is safe for most people when taken carefully. To recap, caffeine is an effective exercise supplement. I believe it has place in a healthy routine and lifestyle. When cycled in, it can be beneficial and provide a needed spark. With that being said, I don't believe it is ideal to consume in large amounts all the time. I would recommend most people use it as needed to help increase their energy output in key moments. It is cheap and fairly safe to use. The studies show that it can help with endurance training, high intensity, and athletics overall. It does appear to benefit trained individuals more than those who are newer to working out. While recommended doses vary by weight, generally 200 to 400 milligrams for 30 to 60 minutes before working out is recommended. Caffeine anhydrous and coffee alike provide exercise benefits and performance. I hope you found some value. We're always striving to bring practical content to the average person.